So my name's Ugonna Ohiri. I'm a technical fellow at Northrop Grumman within our Northrop Grumman Microelectronics Center. And so within our NGMC center, we have about 70 years of innovation in materials, manufacturing, devices, circuits, and systems. So at Northrop Grumman, we build very complicated systems that we can be able to deploy to the warfighter. But diamond is a very interesting material for us because it has these very great and exceptional properties. So at Northrop Grumman, we tend to be at the forefront of innovation. And I'm really excited to tell you all the really exciting things we're doing within the diamond electronics space.
That specific news story about your work in diamond semiconductor that caught our eye and the testing you've done, we'd love to hear about that. Obviously, there's a lot of interest in the use of diamond in various electronic spaces, and the semiconductor area in particular is very exciting, but also we know technically very, very challenging. So it sounds like you've made some progress. We'd love to hear about that.
Absolutely. And what's actually very interesting is that in diamond, it was first being manufactured for gemstones. So most of the application space is more so you think about engagement rings, you think about how many carats, that's where diamond comes into play. But our engineers and physicists at Northrop Grumman have been finding ways to take advantage of the electronic and thermal properties of diamond. Diamond has the highest thermal conductivity of all materials, so it's a great heat spreader. And so specifically in our article, we demonstrated and validated these diamond receiver protector diodes, where there are these diodes that can be able to withstand very high energy pulses and be able to survive very harsh environments. So that is where we demonstrated the first 100-watt capability of these diamond receiver protect diodes, where now we're starting to mature its capabilities from materials infancy all the way to system insertion. So we're really excited to share the news. Going back to the pool of Northrop Grumman, we tend to be at the forefront of innovation. We solve some of the more complex problems that we think that we can be able to speed and accelerate technologies into different programs and just also into very critical missions. So really excited to talk a bit more about our diamond electronic activity.
Yeah, you guys are definitely at the forefront of this innovation. Obviously, harsh environment is critical to your work, and solving for that is critical to the future of your work. And, we know a little bit about a number of different people throughout the world in the research sector that are trying to do exactly what you're doing, whether it's in defense or in space, in outer space. It's quite fascinating, all the possibilities based on what you've seen so far, not just related to Northrop Grumman specifically, but where do you see the lead commercial applications evolving with the use of diamond in general?
That's a great question, Marty. I do consider myself a nerd as a person who's very passionate about new technologies. So, I discussed a bit more about how we use diamond in the defense space. We have other applications where we've been able to follow how we can have many different dual-use commercial applications. So, for example, I didn't mention that diamond has it's a very hardy material. So you can be able to engineer these things we call nitrogen vacancy centers, and we can be able to use them for quantum sensing applications. So that's one application where we can be able to use diamond in the commercial space. Another application is, as I mentioned, it's a great thermal conductor. So as you start to think about these artificial intelligence, like large computing systems that need to be able to withstand lots of heat and be able to cool very quickly, we believe diamond could be used for more so AI-based GPU applications. So not only in the quantum sensing space, but also for high performance computing. Those are two examples where we see diamond having a great use case in the dual use commercial platform.
Yeah, we're aware of that use of nitrogen vacancy centers in quantum sensing. It sounds like qubits love to hang out in nitrogen vacancy centers, and diamonds provide a perfect spot for that.
Absolutely. And, as I mentioned, at Northrop Grumman, you usually think of us as a system-oriented company, but we do have really great engineers and physicists. We also partner with great universities and small startups such as Arizona State University, Advent Diamond, and also very strong commercial players where we are following these activities. And so the quantum sensing is a space that we're starting to find out ways where we can engineer even newer vacancy centers using diamond. Another pull is that we actually installed our first diamond reactor at Northrop Grumman in 2023. So we actually have our own diamond reactor where we're being able to grow some very interesting films to be able to potentially use it for some quantum sensing applications.
Oh, that's really great to hear, because as a researcher having access to a chamber, a reactor to grow your own diamonds really speeds up the process instead of having to outsource that all the time.
Exactly. And I should have probably discussed a bit about our timeline. So we started this project in 2019 where we demonstrated our first proof of concept diamond prototype. And so Northrop Grumman has been invested for about 7 years. For example, in 2021, we stood up our own diamond fabrication facility where we can be able to engineer diamond devices within our Baltimore site. In 2023, we installed our first diamond reactor. So now we're actually growing our own thin films of diamond to be able to use from various applications. And then now we've just been thinking about just the application space, not only in defense, but also commercial. So this is where Northrop Grumman, across our 3 foundries in Baltimore, in our Space Park, California, and our Popka, Florida facilities, just finding unique opportunities for us to be able to use our foundry to be able to work on these complex problems.
Oh, yeah, that's a big development. And we see, we work with a lot of the diamond growers in the world, and we see the demand increasing, but also the consolidation of the pipeline. In order for innovation to happen faster, diamond growers are going to get further downstream into product development, not just sell material. And we see product developers, researchers, big and small, wanting to set up their own growing facilities close to them because, as you know, it's a lot of trial and error involved in getting the product right.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought the point up. Domestic access is a key point here. And I think this is where we've been trying to bring these capabilities within the United States. And, as I mentioned, working across some very world-class premier diamond researchers, not only in the university space, small businesses, commercial vendors, we see ourselves creating this pipeline of these diamond electronic materials and devices that we can insert into our future systems. So it's an excellent collaborative work. Again, as a DIB, right? You again think of Northrop Grumman more so focused on the mature systems, but we also understand where these diamonds can come into play. So it's just been a great collaboration across the board, across the different teams.
That's very exciting to hear. We look forward to hearing more when you can share it with us about that. What other innovations are coming out of the microelectronics team that you can share with us? Anything else exciting that you're able to tell us about?
Absolutely, especially within the diamond space. So as I mentioned, we've been focused on using single crystal diamond. That's where we're developing these high power receiver protection devices. But we've also been finding ways to complement our diamond technology with some of our gallium nitride products. And so that's very interesting as you think about gallium nitride. It's been a bread and butter of microelectronics over the past decade. But we found really creative opportunities to be able to grow diamond on our GaN devices for improved heat spreading. So as I think of new technologies and new materials, we think about how we can complement them at Northrop Grumman. We work on a wide array of different materials and different material platforms and systems. And so that's one example where we're being able to leverage the exciting properties of diamond, marry them to our GaN product line to be able to think about ways for improved thermal management.
That is awesome.
Yes, lastly, I think, as I mentioned, just the collaborative nature of this project, I've been really excited. Just the engineers and physicists who work on this, who are passionate about this technology. As you know, I just love, this is almost like a baby science project for myself, right? And so now just understanding how we can be able to solve these next generation materials and insert them into more mature systems has been the beauty of this project. So really, thank you again. And I really think this was a great opportunity to talk more about our work.
We were thrilled to have you. Just one thing I want to add about what you just mentioned. A lot of people on the outside of the research world and the technology world get very excited about a single company announcement, but it's kind of like making a movie, somebody comes up with an idea for a movie, but then the collaboration that goes on between the idea all the way through to production and release, there tends to be a lot of people, a lot of smart people that have to get involved and interact. So it's never really just one person or one company. There's a lot of partnerships involved in developing technology such as you guys are doing.
Absolutely. You make a great point. It does take a full village to make this work, right? And, as I mentioned, it's just been great partnerships, learning from some of the best, right? Researchers, call them out in Arizona, great researchers over in Arizona. We're pretty much partnered with almost anyone you can think of domestically when it comes to diamond. So it's just been a great 7-year journey. We're excited for the future of what's to come and excited for our roadmap at Northrop Grumman Microelectronics Center.